Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Henry Kramer, 605 Chaser. Welcome to the show. We'll wait a few moments for folks to join in. We got a lot of weather to get to, including tornado potential for areas of southeast South Dakota, southwest Minnesota, northwest Iowa, and extreme northeastern portions of Nebraska. So it's going to be quite a show. We're going to break down everything for you. All right, we'll just give it another moment here, kind of early in the morning for our broadcast, but we'll give it another moment here. All right, it's right on the dot, 7 a.m. Welcome, everybody. If you're tuning in to this live, great. If you're not, make sure that you're subscribing and hitting that notification bell so that way you know when we go live, you get a notification. Because today, July 18th, 2025, we are going to likely, hey, good morning, Nathan. Definitely going to be chasing today. So we're definitely going to break things down for you. Make sure that you hit the notification bell here on YouTube if you have not already. And if you're not following, make sure you already do that. Okay, so let's break down things here for you. I'm first going to take care of the East Coast because it's less of a risk, and I want to kind of just get that out of the way, so that way we can focus on the main threat for today. So here's the timing for areas of East Coastline over by the Richmond, Virginia Beach, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Greenville, North Carolina area, mainly in the afternoon hours. And this is going to be primarily a wind threat, not going to be a tornadic type of event. I can't rule out a tornado, but the SPC does not have a tornado risk outlined in there. So it'd be less than 2% if one does happen. So nonetheless, make sure that you stay weather aware if you're in those areas. This polygon that's outlined there, that is a slight risk. Outside of that, we've got this green or darker shaded green. That's all marginal risk. So there could be a number of areas that have concerns all the way back to Nashville, Kansas City, and down into North Platte even. So lots going on there. Let's go ahead and break down the flooding risk. I want to bring that up as well. So this flooding risk, we do have potential here for flooding in Shakopee, Minnesota, Brooklyn Park, Rochester, all the way back to Sioux Falls area, even Mitchell. But that is more of a marginal risk versus the slight risk in the yellow. The slight risk is for excessive rainfall. We could be seeing 3+ inches of rain in some of these areas here in a very short amount of time. Also, that risk for the flooding is more substantial in areas over into the East Coast line where we have a moderate risk here in the red, Charlottesville and Staunton, as well as areas of West Virginia there, does have the slight risk. So just be mindful of that if you're in those areas. Now let's go ahead and get to the severe weather, what y'all joined us for. Severe weather that we're expecting here today. This is a look at 11 a.m. The NAM 3K is kind of overdoing this for the northern section up by Clark and Clear Lake area. Don't expect any severe weather as far as tornadic type of things, but we do expect some heavy downpours as well as a wind threat up there and maybe some marginally severe hail that would be in the realm of maybe some marble size hail. Nothing real big up there. Let's move things along a little bit further and let's go to the Sioux Falls area, like see what's happening later this evening. We're going to have another wave that comes through. Here it is around 6 p.m. What we're expecting this to be a more discrete line of cells, but eventually that will bring a wind threat with it the later in the evening we go. So what I'm expecting is these discrete cells to pop up sometime after 4 p.m. today over by the Mitchell area, kind of the Highway 34 or Highway 37. Those of you that are familiar with that area, these are going to be early on tornadic potential, and then the further along in the evening, after 8 or 9 p.m., that would be when that wind threat turns on quite a bit. Here's a look at 6 p.m. That's where it's probably the highest risk, in my opinion, between that 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. time frame for the tornadic activity. And I can show you that with regards to the significant tornado parameters. Now, just be mindful, the significant tornado parameters doesn't mean that there's necessarily going to be a significant tornado. It takes into account LCL, a number of other things, updraft helicity. Um, it basically gives you a hot zone, if you will, of where that potential may be maximized. Obviously, number of weather models show things different. I mean, I looked at the HER model this morning, and it doesn't show anything close to this. So they're all over the place. The main thing that I want you to be aware of is there is that potential for the tornadic activity here. This would be in southwest Minnesota. There also is potential north of Yankton area, and this is looking at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We have a 2.1. Anytime you get 2 or higher, that's where I get a little concerned about the tornado potential. Um, and here's where I am this is where I'm thinking I'm going to target today, somewhere into the Wagner area, down south of Highway 18. Only takes about an hour and a half to get from where I'm at. The greatest potential, in my opinion, is going to be in the southern portion versus the northern. I may end up having I really think the reason that this is so huge right here is I think that wind threat is going to be here. That's my thought. I think the wind threat is going to be more northerly, and the southern storms here are going to be more discrete, and they're going to have that bigger potential for the tornadic activity. Let's go ahead and take a look at max updraft helicity. I realize I might be boring some of you, and I apologize for that, but I'm kind of a geek when it comes to numbers. So I want to make sure that I show you guys uh, and give you a little bit of education as to where this potential is and why. You know, I could tell you a whole lot. Oh yeah, I'm going to go chase here, but why? Why are you going there, right? So the max updraft helicity, it that alone doesn't give you enough information to go on that that's where you want to chase. But when you have the max updraft helicity and you have the significant tornado parameters and those all overlapping each other in the same area like this does, 167, 299 basically getting maxed out around 7 p.m. These are areas that I would want to chase. I would likely best place to chase, in my opinion, is going to be right around this zone here. Um, I'm not suggesting that you guys ever go chase, but if you get your training and you get professional and you ever want to do that, certainly could contact me, and I'd love to have you join me on a chase. For now, it's free, but eventually I'm going to be starting to charge. And the reason why I'm going to be starting to charge is I want to build this company into a much bigger thing so that I can do this more full time. Also, I'm going to be able to educate you, like where your target zone should be, how to interpret radar, um, all of the things that you need to know in order to. So it's not just going to be, oh, you pay me so much money and we're just going to go chase. It's going to be an educational uh, tour basically, and that's what I really want to get to. So anyhow, back to the weather. So we want to target the southwestern portion. We don't want to be in front because right here, that's going to be where you get all that wind, you get the rain, and you're going to be blasted. And if a tornado happens, you could get an RFD, and you really will be or not RFD, you'll get rain wrapped in that, and it'll be so much of a mess you won't be able to see anything. And storm chasing 101, you want to be able to have a clear view of where that potential is, and that's just it. Let's go ahead and take a look at composite reflective to kind of show you a rundown of, okay, where is this all going to be? How is this going to look on radar estimates? Again, this was updated. NAM 3K weather model was updated at 2 o'clock this morning. So this is a little outdated, but it's the best that we can do because the HER model isn't out far enough for us to see the later storms, which is where the greatest potential is. So again, this NAM3K shows 11 a.m., some storms kind of popping up here. There is some concern that this might stabilize a little bit of the atmosphere. Um, but again, I feel that there's going to be plenty of moisture and plenty of other elements in the southern portion. That's really why I'm not tracking this northerly one, because this is going to hinder the development for that tornado potential up here. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be tornadoes up here, just means that this is, in my opinion, more likely of an area to target. That way I'm not all the way up here. So this will look at 1 o'clock. So areas of southwestern portions of Minnesota, Redwood Falls, Brookings area, you're going to have that wind threat. Let's go ahead and break that down here for you a little bit better with the wind threat. I'll get into the settings here, make that polygon a little bit better to see. So here's the tornado threat overall. This is a 5% here in the brown, and we got the green section, that's 2%. So as you can see, less of a shot, but still a shot at tornado activity. I think this is mainly going to be that wind threat that we see there at 1 o'clock. And then as we move along, here it is. That's where we really start to see things. I mean, Madison area could potentially see that, but I think that's going to get rain wrapped so much, and it's going to turn into a difficult scenario for chasing. Plus, uh, Highway 81, it's just going to have a lot more elements. Highway 81, Highway 50 over by that Tyndall and Marty area. That's really looking a little bit more of a discrete cell before it ends up moving more of a line here. Let me show you as we move it along. See how that separates itself? It separates itself, so there's two potential target areas. We've got the northerly target right here, and we've got the southern target. In my opinion, the southern target is the best one. So that's where I'm going to be targeting today. I certainly hope that you guys will join me live streaming today. I may end up having somebody with me today. It just depends on how quickly these storms develop. Right now, as it stands, it looks like it's going to be an evening type of storm activity sometime after 5 p.m. and could end up going really late, could go to midnight, depending on how far south I go. Once it gets to midnight time frame, though, Pierce, Norfolk, this becomes more of a wind threat, and I really don't want to go down there, and that becomes less of a tornado risk down there as it goes into the evening hours. So again, here's the brown section. That is all the 5% tornado risk. You may be saying, okay, 5%, Henry, that's not that bad. No, 5% is an elevated compared to 2. So you got 2 to 4%, you got 5 to 9%, and those when in the chasing world, when you see a 5 to 9 this late in the season, you're going to grab it because it's got some good potential and it's chase worthy. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the wind threat again. We got the wind threat that is much more prevalent here in that Sioux Falls, north of Omaha area, all the way back over to areas of Broken Bow. As we zoom in here, we can see Worthington, Minnesota, Fairmont, and Spencer, Storm Lake, and Fort Dodge, all the way over to areas of Des Moines. Des Moines also has that potential for tomorrow, having significant severe weather, even over to Dubuque. We're not going to chat on that right now with regards to that on this live, but we'll do a morning update tomorrow morning as well with respect to Iowa and Illinois' risks that we have coming. All right, the next thing that we want to take a look is that hail factor. Hey, what's the hail? Well, here's the hail, and we could see that when we take a look at max updraft helicity. That's a measurement one element of the hail factor here. So you can see these numbers here, 336. Obviously, the larger the number, the greater the potential for the hail and the greater the potential for the updrafts. And so that's really why we're targeting that. And I want to point out, just because I said updraft doesn't mean that Sioux Falls is going to get a tornado. You have to factor in a lot of other stuff. So there is still obviously that potential that Sioux Falls area could see a tornado or a brief spin up. But if I go over to significant tornado parameters, again, that does not mean that there is a significant tornado. Take a look at that. The numbers on there are way less. So it's going to be a big time hailer in Sioux Falls. We could end up seeing 2+ inch hail in Sioux Falls. So if you guys know of anybody that does hail damage repair, you're going to definitely want to smooth talk them because you're going to have some vehicles and some damage to your homes. You're definitely going to want to do that. All right, and so the reason why I don't believe that it's going to be a tornado risk right smack dab in Sioux Falls is because of the fact that the significant tornado parameter numbers are not there, but the max updraft helicity. So there could be a brief spin up of a tornado, but as far as an impact, I think the greatest risk for the Sioux Falls surrounding area or metro area would be the hail and the wind threat. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a few other things that we look at. What about the dew points? Gosh dang, it's been nice and cool, right? Well, we certainly are going to feel it today. 73-degree dew points, got 64-degree dew points right there. But let's go ahead and move this thing along a little bit further here. Let me just make sure that we got that loading. One moment. There we go. Move this along to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There we go. We got that moisture. Look at that. 70-degree dew points, almost tropical as we get into 75, close to 75-degree dew points down here. So that moisture is kicking up from the Gulf all the way up north here. And then what we're going to see as we get into the evening hours, that erodes. Okay, we get the lower dew points, 60 degrees, still muggy, yes, 60-degree dew points, but that drops. And that's where those storms will be firing all along here. And then on the backside, look at that. You can kind of see that wall of storms here as it bows out. And that's what we're expecting, a wind threat down here south of O'Neill as well as Lincoln, Nebraska area. So let me go ahead and bring back the overall risk again. There it is. There is the overall risk. We got the slight risk, that's a 2 out of 5, and then the marginal risk is outside here. That would be a 1 out of 5, and then the general thunderstorms, non-severe type of storms are there. Let's go ahead and bring a reflective and show that again here so that we can show you that there's nothing really going on. We got a few storms trying to fire up here just northwest of Chamberlain area, Fort Thompson area. Again, those are going to generally move off to the east this morning, and eventually they'll fire up as it gets more into a moisture-rich environment over by Madison and Brookings area later today. But again, the main threat is going to be down south of Mitchell area and into the Sioux Falls region, northwest Iowa, northeast Nebraska, southwest Minnesota. All right, that's all that I have at this point. Let me verify here that I went through. Yeah, they got flash flooding not in our area. So today's chase is going to probably start alive sometime after 5 p.m. I'll have to get into my initial target zone, again, that area, unless something drastically changes, which I don't foresee that happening. This would be kind of the area that I'm targeting today. I may have to pick up a buddy of mine in area of Huron today that's wanting to go chase with me. So I'll have a very, very long drive up to Huron and then uh, areas to point southward. So we'll have to see how that goes. You guys have a great rest of your day. If you just joined us, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the notification bell because we're going to be going live on YouTube today for live storm chasing. We got to get into position, and I say we because also my cousin might be joining. Depends on how early these storms. If I have to get into position by 5 o'clock and he doesn't get off work until 5, he might be left in the dust. Sorry, cuz, if you're listening. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay weather aware. Make sure you keep your knowledge available. Also, if you're not familiar with it, a great resource, I'll leave that in the comments here in 1 second. A great resource that I utilize, and it's public domain. This would be a great resource. I just pinned the link in the comments section here. So you could go to that and you can check the available rooms, and it gives the Storm Prediction Center, National Hurricane Center information. It also gives you climate prediction. It gives you the damage assessment area. Once they do damage assessments, gives you the official information and then it gives you all the text information or alert information from all of the National Weather Service sites. It's a great resource to use. I've often gotten times alerts on there within seconds before the alert comes through my cell phone, so it's straight from the IEM bot. So you guys have a great rest of your day. God bless, stay safe, and we will catch you on a live stream later today.